SpaceX has officially filed for the biggest IPO in human history, and every headline is about to tell you the scary part, which is that SpaceX lost almost $5 billion last year. But buried in that same exact filing is one deal that flips the whole story, and almost nobody is talking about it. So let me tell you about that deal. One of the most important artificial intelligence companies on the entire planet, a company called Anthropic, has agreed to pay SpaceX $1.25 billion, not as a one-time payment, every single month, all the way through May of 2029. That is roughly $15 billion a year from one single customer, flowing into a company that most people still think of as just a company that launches rockets. And once you understand that one deal, that almost $5 billion loss stops looking like a company that's insanely overvalued and starts looking like something completely different. It starts looking like a company spending money hand over fist to build the most valuable infrastructure of the next 20 years and already lining up customers to pay for it. This is truly a historic moment in the stock market, in business, and in American history. I know it sounds hyperbolic, but after I walk you through this document, I know you will be with me. And nothing in this video is investment or financial advice. On May 20th, 2026, SpaceX filed a document called an S-1 with the US government. An S-1 is basically the paperwork a private company has to file when it wants to sell shares of itself to the public for the very first time. It's called an IPO. It is the on-ramp to becoming public. Now, by every number being thrown around, this is on track to be the largest first-time stock sale in the history of the world. The previous record was Saudi Aramco, the oil company, the giant one in the Middle East, which raised about $25 billion back in 2019. SpaceX is reportedly looking to raise something in the range of 3 times that, at a valuation that's far larger, nearing 2.5 trillion. And this filing does not describe the SpaceX you think you know. It actually describes a company that has quietly turned into 3 separate companies. There is a rocket company, there is a global internet company that's actually printing money, and there is an entirely new artificial intelligence company. And that's the same one that Anthropic is writing that giant check for. Let me start with the Anthropic deal because this is truly what unlocks the entire story. To understand why the Anthropic deal matters so much, you first have to understand something that changed about SpaceX a few months ago. On February 2nd of this year, SpaceX closed a deal to acquire a company called xAI. xAI is Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company. It is a company behind Grok, the AI chatbot, and it also owns X, which is the social media platform that used to be called Twitter. SpaceX bought the entire thing in an all-stock deal. So as of this year, SpaceX is not only a space company, it has a full artificial intelligence arm as well, with actual data centers. These data centers are called Colossus 1 and Colossus 2 that house over 500,000 GPUs, the actual chips you need to power AI. Now, here's the thing about artificial intelligence that you have to understand, because this entire filing is built on top of this assumption. When you type a question into an AI chatbot like Grok or ChatGPT, that answer is not being generated on your phone or your computer. It goes out somewhere into a massive building, those data centers that are packed wall to wall with thousands and thousands of insanely expensive spatialized computer chips. And that is where the answer is really coming from. That building is called a data center. Training and running modern AI takes a staggering amount of computing power and a staggering amount of electricity to feed those chips. And the companies that own the buildings and the chips and the power, they are the ones who actually control AI. Everybody else is just renting from those companies. There is an old phrase from the gold rush. During the gold rush, a lot of people who actually went digging for gold went broke. The people who actually got rich were the ones selling the picks and the shovels and the blue jeans to all the miners. SpaceX is making a giant bet to become the picks and shovels company of the AI gold rush. They're not really trying to make the models per se. They are trying to be the company that owns the compute, the power, and eventually owns the satellites that everyone else has to pay to use to power their AI models. And that is exactly where Anthropic comes in. Anthropic is one of the biggest, most serious artificial intelligence companies in the world. They've built an AI assistant called called Claude, and they are a direct competitor to Elon's own Grok and to ChatGPT. They are the top tier player, one of the small handful of companies operating at the absolute frontier of this technology. And they're absolutely crushing it. Anthropic's Claude models, especially with Mythos, are easily the best models out there for basically anything per benchmarks. And the SpaceX filing discloses that in May 2026, SpaceX signed an agreement to give Anthropic access to its computing power. Here are the terms straight out of the filing. Anthropic has agreed to pay SpaceX $1,255 million per month through May of 2029, which is $15 billion a year that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. This is from one customer for renting computing power. Now think about what that actually proves. SpaceX's entire bet is we're going to become the company that other companies pay to do their AI computing for them. Elon Musk actually tweeted about this as such, saying, quote, as a recently expanded partnership with Anthropic demonstrates, SpaceX is offering AI compute as a service at significant scale. We are in discussions with other companies to do the same. Over time, especially with orbital data centers, we expect to serve AI at extremely high scale. And truly, that is the whole picks and shovels thesis. One of the most sophisticated AI companies on the planet, a company that absolutely has the option and the money to go build their own data centers in Anthropic, looked at SpaceX and said, no, we'll just pay you $15 billion a year to do it for us instead. Now, the filing says either side can cancel the agreement on 90 days notice, so it is not technically bulletproof, but let's be honest, with the insane amount of demand for AI, it is very unlikely either party would cancel this deal given the current circumstances. And there's actually a second deal like this in the filing, which is smaller, that almost nobody is going to mention. Back in April 2026, SpaceX signed a computing deal with a company called AnySphere. That is the company behind the popular AI coding tool Cursor. And tied to that deal, SpaceX has an option to actually buy Cursor outright at an implied value of $60 billion, which looks like SpaceX will do once they go public based on recent reporting. So if you thought SpaceX was a rocket company, that's beginning to really flip on its head. So now let us get back to that scary number from the beginning, which was the $5 billion loss. The old SpaceX was basically two businesses. It launched rockets and it ran Starlink, but after the xAI acquisition, SpaceX is three businesses. And in the filing, SpaceX reports its financials split into three separate buckets, what they call segments. Segment number one, they call space. This is launching rockets with Falcon 9 and Starship, flying missions for NASA, the Department of War, and a bunch of private companies. In 2025, the space segment brought in roughly $5 billion in revenue. But here's the interesting part. On an operating basis, that segment actually lost money. It had an operating loss of about $657 million. Now you're probably like, Farzad, you told me SpaceX is this incredible freaking company. Why are they losing money? The answer is Starship. SpaceX poured $3 billion of research and development into Starship in 2025 alone. Starship is the giant next generation rocket, the one that's supposed to eventually carry everyone to Mars. The filing says that SpaceX expects Starship to start delivering actual paying payloads to orbit in the second half of 2026. As of right now, Starship does not earn a dime. It just costs money to run, a lot of money. And that R&D spending is what drags the whole space segment into an operating loss. So Falcon 9, their workhorse, is definitely making money, but they have to use all that money to pour back into Starship to build that out for future deployments. Segment number two, they call connectivity. And this, my friends, this is the engine. This has been the company's cash cow. The connectivity segment is Starlink. That's SpaceX's satellite internet company, and in 2025, Starlink brought in about $11 billion in revenue. The total company revenue for all of SpaceX in 2025 was $18 billion, and Starlink alone is roughly $11 billion. That is 61% of every single revenue dollar SpaceX makes comes from beaming internet down from space. And it is growing like crazy. That $11 billion in 25 was up almost 50% from the year before. 50% growth on an $11 billion business is a lot. But here's the part that actually matters. Starlink is wildly profitable. The connectivity segment had an operating income of over $4 billion on a measure called adjusted EBITDA, which is basically a rough way of looking at the cash a business throws off before you subtract things like interest and depreciation. Starlink did over $7 billion on $11.4 billion of revenue revenue, that is about 63% margin, and that is similar to software company level money. That is insane for a hardware company. And the reason it is so big is the sheer scale of the satellite system. As of the end of March 2026, Starlink has roughly 10 million subscribers across 164 countries. There are over 10,000 Starlink satellites up there in low Earth orbit in the sky. SpaceX is also doing direct satellite to phone service, the thing where your regular cell phone connects straight to a satellite when you're out of cell range, and that is already touching something like 7 million devices a month. And SpaceX is looking to expand it. Now that is the cash cow. Starlink is profitable, very big, and growing 50% per year. Real quick, about 75% of you who watch my channel are not subscribed, and if you're enjoying this video, the easiest way to support is by hitting the subscribe button. It's completely free and goes a long way. Thank you so much. Now we go to segment number 3, which they call AI, artificial intelligence. The AI segment is the XAI business that SpaceX just bought. This includes Grok, the chatbot, X, the social media platform, and the data centers full of computer chips that train all of this. In 2025, the AI segment brought in about $3 billion in revenue, but the AI segment had a loss from operations of over $6 billion. That's why there is that scary number at the beginning that some publications are reporting. SpaceX has bought an artificial intelligence company that loses billions of dollars a year, and the moment that deal closed, all those losses landed on SpaceX's books. And here's the part I really want you to catch. The AI segment, the one bleeding $6.4 billion, is the same exact segment Anthropic just agreed to pour $15 billion into per year. So once SpaceX starts recognizing revenue from Anthropic against their AI business, not only will that make that side of the business extremely profitable over time, it will make the entire business profitable as early as 2026 by offsetting any losses from the AI business and the rocket business. And this right here is a pattern I want you to actually learn, because once you see it, you will see it everywhere. You take a dominant, high margin, cash printing core business and you use its cash to fund a giant, unproven, expensive bet on what you think the next era looks like. The cash cow pays for the moonshot. And do you know which company is incredible at doing this? Amazon. Amazon.com, the one where we all freaking buy everything we need, quietly funded Amazon Web Services for years until AWS became the most profitable thing they own. But Tesla also does this. They sell cars to fund self-driving software and the Optimus robot. Google does it as well. Search ads fund basically everything else they have ever tried. And now SpaceX is running the most dramatic version of that playbook I have ever seen. And all you have to do is just look at their income statement. Starlink's $7 billion of cash flow profit is on the same page in the filing, getting eaten alive by the AI segment. The cash cow is literally feeding the moonshot, and that was before the Anthropic deal. But everything I have described so far is still mostly terrestrial. Data centers on the ground in Tennessee and Mississippi that are feeding Anthropic, and Starlink beaming down internet to Earth. But the actual far out moonshot, literally, the part that makes this an unmistakable Elon Musk company, is the next one. SpaceX wants to put data centers in space. SpaceX plans to build what they call AI compute satellites. The idea is a constellation of satellites that work together as basically a data center in orbit. The filing says, quote, "We expect to begin deploying our orbital AI compute satellites as early as 2028. So why would you put a computer in space? There's actually two reasons, and they actually make a lot of sense once you really think through it. Reason number one is power. Out in space, specifically in an orbit called a sun-synchronous orbit, you can position a satellite so that its solar panels are basically always pointed at the sun. That gives you endless free solar electricity. Per the filing, the sun holds something like 99.8% of all the energy in our solar system, and down here on Earth, AI is already slamming into a wall. There's not enough electricity. The power grid cannot keep up, and there's a lot of NIMBYism, not in my backyard. But up there in space, that problem is completely gone. So it's one of the most logical ways to solve for the power problem. And because of SpaceX's advanced rockets, it not only becomes possible, but a total no-brainer. Now, reason number two is heat and room. Computers run very hot, and down here, real estate and cooling and grid hookups are very hard limits. units. Most of the cost and space needed to build a data center on Earth is actually based around cooling, not the chips themselves. But in orbit, you radiate the heat away into the cold of space, and the room to expand is basically literally infinite because space is infinite. I know all of this sounds crazy. I know, but this has been in the works ever since Starship became a product. And as you can see, it's but one piece of the entire system that Elon is building between his companies, which I cover very deeply in my new book, Master Plan, What Elon Musk is Actually Building, which is aimed to help folks truly grasp how Elon is building the next generation of human civilization across transportation, labor, space, energy, and more. It's now available on Amazon, on Kindle, and paperback, and I have a link for that in the comment and the description below. And if you want to nerd out with other like-minded individuals like myself and everyone else who watches this channel, head over to Farzad.fm to join my community and gain access to weekly Q&As with me, exclusive content, and so much more. Thank you so much. Now we're going to cover the risks, which SpaceX is required by law to file on this form. Risk number one, and this is easily the biggest one by far, the filing calls it key person dependency. In plain English, this whole company runs on Elon Musk. The filing says SpaceX is, quote, highly dependent on the continued services of Mr. Musk, and that losing him, whether due to death, disability, or otherwise, could significantly disrupt the company. The filing also says that Elon does not work at SpaceX full-time. He also runs Tesla, the Boring Company. He has been involved in US politics, so his time and his attention are split across an entire empire, which is not new, but something they have to mention. Risk number two is the cash burn. At the end of December 2025, SpaceX had about $24 billion in cash, and then 3 months later, at the end of March, that cash pile went down to $15 billion. So in a single quarter, the company's cash dropped by almost $9 billion, which is a ridiculous burn rate. But now with this Anthropic deal, in theory, that burn rate should be massively slowed and potentially even reversed as more and more deals come through from other AI companies to use SpaceX's compute. And risk number three is governance. SpaceX has what is called a dual class share structure. There are two kinds of stock. There's Class A shares, which is what you and me, the public, would be able to buy, and we get 1 vote each. And then there's Class B shares that get 10 votes each. And guess who owns the Class B shares? Right now, before this IPO, the filing shows Elon Musk controls about 85% of the total voting power of the company. That 85% is the number before the IPO. So after SpaceX sells shares to the public, that percentage will drop a little. But what this means is after the IPO, Elon Musk remains firmly, completely in control of SpaceX. It does not matter how the public votes. And because of that, SpaceX gets to register as something called a controlled company, which means under NASDAQ's rules, it can actually skip some of the normal requirements about having an independent board of directors. Mark Zuckerberg has something very similar at Meta, where he ultimately has total control, and investors decide if they trust him or not by purchasing the stock in the company. And my guess is with Elon, after all the chaos Tesla has gone through with short sellers, that lawsuit in Delaware about his comp package that ended up being overturned, and so many other potential governance issues, he probably wanted to eliminate that risk just completely. Elon has also said that the total voting control is to ensure that SpaceX is always pointed towards its eventual mission, which is the colonization of Mars. And by having total voting control, Elon says that he can always make sure that ends up being the case. This is probably very uncomfortable for some investors since public companies traditionally share voting control amongst the public equally. So I totally understand if there are many out there who view this as a big governance problem, but ultimately those that have those concerns will just not buy shares in SpaceX. And those that trust Elon will, in my estimation, buy SpaceX shares like freaking crazy. Now, a lot of you are going to ask the obvious question, when can I buy this thing if you're interested in buying it? SpaceX shares are set to go live on the NASDAQ on June 12th, and it's pretty obvious to see that this is going to be easily the biggest IPO in stock market history. It really is quite crazy to think that a company that started as a literal moonshot with the hope of getting the US excited about going to space again is now not only going to be the biggest IPO in history, it's also one of the most ambitious companies in the history of capitalism, with the potential of landing us on the moon and Mars and potentially beyond. And knowing that a lot of you who watch my channel channel are also Tesla investors, or you have followed Elon's companies for a while, watching SpaceX go public probably hits in a very specific way. Because the question this filing forces, do I still believe the thesis, is honestly the hardest question in all of investing. And it is far more a psychology question than a math question. It's a question of conviction. And that is something that the team over at Rebellionaire covers really well. Bradford Ferguson and his team have a video called The Stress of Tesla Investing that gets into the difference between actual conviction and just stubborn rigidity, because, quote, never sell can quietly turn into an identity trap if you stop paying attention. It is genuinely worth a watch if you're trying to figure out where you stand on a bet like this one, and I will link that video down in the description in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative and helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Mwah! Bye-bye.